You don't fall in love with a person first. You fall in love with a feeling your body decides is important. That's why someone can be completely wrong for you on paper and still live in your head like a song you never meant to memorize. That's why one text can light you up, one delay can hollow you out, and one almost relationship can haunt you longer than something real. You're not dramatic for feeling this deeply. You're standing inside one of the strangest systems in human psychology. Love, desire, and attachment are not the same thing. They only wear each other's clothes. And when they get tangled, you can mistake chemistry for destiny. Picture this. It's late. Your phone is face down, but not really. Part of you is still listening for it. You replay the way they looked at you, the way they pulled away, the way your chest suddenly feels too small for your own thoughts. You tell yourself to relax, to be normal, to stop caring this much. But your mind keeps building theories, and your body keeps acting like something huge is at stake. The emotional cost is weirdly private. You can be high on someone and exhausted by them at the exact same time. You can crave closeness, then panic when it gets too real. You can miss people who never truly held you. Here's what's really happening. What you call love often contains three different forces moving at once: desire, attachment, and meaning. Desire is the spark. Attachment is the bond. Meaning is the story you build around both. And most of the confusion begins when your brain treats all three like one giant truth. So let's break it down. Because once you see the machinery, the mystery doesn't disappear. It just stops controlling you from the shadows. Number 1. Desire is often built on uncertainty more than compatibility. Most people think desire means this person must be special. But actually, desire often grows fastest where there's tension, novelty, and partial access. Your brain loves a closed loop it can't close. When someone is warm, then distant, present, then vague, your attention doesn't relax. It locks on. It's like your mind turning one blinking notification into the center of the universe. You're not obsessed. You're activated. And that distinction matters. Desire can feel like truth, when it's really your reward system chasing maybe. Dopamine doesn't only respond to pleasure, it responds to anticipation, to the possibility of reward, to the almost. And that's where it gets weird, because the next layer has even less to do with romance than you think. Number 2. Attachment is your nervous system asking one brutal question. Am I safe here? This is the part people miss. You don't just bond through affection. You bond through regulation. Through who calms your body, who unsettles it, and who starts to feel emotionally familiar, even when familiar isn't always peaceful. Picture your nervous system like an old house alarm. It doesn't only react to danger, it reacts to patterns it recognizes. So if inconsistency, emotional distance, or having to work for warmth feels strangely magnetic, it can suggest your body learned early that love must be monitored, earned, or decoded. You're not needy, you're pattern matching. That doesn't mean every intense bond is unhealthy. It means intensity alone is a terrible lie detector. Sometimes what feels powerful is just what feels known. But if attachment explains the bond, what explains why one person becomes a symbol? That's where number 3 comes in. Number 3. You rarely desire only the person. You desire who you get to be around them. This is why some connections hit like lightning. They don't just offer affection, they activate an identity. Around them, you feel chosen, more alive, more interesting, more wanted, or maybe more wounded in a way that strangely feels honest. Love can become a mirror, and desire can become a costume you're scared to take off. You're not falling only for them. You're falling for a version of you that feels expanded in their presence. Maybe they make you feel softer. Maybe they wake up your confidence.
Maybe they trigger your hunger to finally be the one who is unforgettable.
And once your identity gets braided into the connection, letting go doesn't feel like losing a person. It feels like losing a self. But here's the part people miss. If desire builds fantasy, attachment builds gravity. And gravity gets heavier when your brain starts predicting pain. Number 4. Intermittent affection can create stronger fixation than steady love. This sounds backward, but your brain is built to study unstable rewards. When care arrives unpredictably, you often become more attentive, not less. You scan harder, interpret more, hope louder. A stable connection lets your body exhale. An unstable one can make your whole system crouch at the edge of emotional impact. It's like trying to drink water from a faucet that only works when you stop trusting it. You're not crazy. You're in a loop. One where your threat detection system and your hope system start working overtime together. Hypervigilance can dress itself up as devotion. You think you're reading the relationship carefully, but really the relationship is training you to stay on alert. And that alertness can feel like passion, because calm is so quiet, it almost seems boring. But if unstable desire traps you in the chase, there's still one force that decides whether the whole thing becomes love, grief, or growth. Number 5. Meaning is what turns chemistry into a personal mythology. Human beings do not just feel. You narrate. You assign symbolism. You make emotional cinema out of tiny moments. One look becomes proof. One goodbye becomes fate. One almost becomes a lifelong question mark. That's why heartbreak is never only about what happened. It's about what you believed it meant. You're not weak. You're a meaning maker. And that is both your gift and your vulnerability. Because once a bond gets wrapped in identity, longing, and unfinished story, you're not just mourning a person. You're mourning the future your mind quietly built in the dark. And here's the beautiful contradiction. The part of you that loves hard is not the part that ruins you. It's the part that reveals you. You can be guarded and still ache for closeness. You can crave freedom and still want to belong somewhere deeply. You can be hard to reach, not because you feel too little, but because you feel with such dangerous precision that you learned to protect the softest rooms first. That's your paradox. You don't want shallow intensity. You want a connection that feels electric, without costing your peace. You want desire without confusion, attachment without losing yourself, love that doesn't make you audition for your own worth. Still, there's a grounded caution here. Sometimes calling something deep can become a beautiful disguise for avoidance. Sometimes chasing the unavailable saves you from being fully seen. Sometimes staying attached to mixed signals protects you from the quieter vulnerability of real mutual care. So the question isn't just, do I feel a lot? The question is, what kind of love does my body mistake for home? That small shift can change everything. Not overnight, but enough to make you notice when intensity is draining you instead of expanding you. And maybe that's the real science of love, desire, and attachment. Not that they make you irrational, but that they expose the hidden rules your heart has been following without your permission. You were never too much for loving deeply. You were just never meant to confuse hunger with destiny, or chaos with chemistry, or longing with proof. Sometimes, the most powerful love story begins the moment you stop asking who can consume you and start asking who lets you stay whole. So tell me in the comments, team chemistry or team safety? And if you've ever confused intensity for love, the next video is for you. Because once you see why you get attached to emotionally unavailable people, you can't unsee it.